an oath to an individual or a political party. We take our oath to defend the United States Constitution, and that oath must mean something. Tonight, I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
Yeah, that day cannot come soon enough. After serving three terms in Congress, and as vice chair of the House January 6th committee, our next guest is on a mission to make sure that you know who never sees the Oval Office again. Please welcome, for the first time on our show, the author of the book, Oath and Honor, a memoir and a warning, Liz Cheney. You know, when I listened to your book, I thought it was an extraordinary memoir written by somebody who I didn't know I had so much in common with. So, yeah, I know, it's shocking.
Well, they cheered her. This lefty audience cheered her.
Well, what's extraordinary is that I really wanted you to come and talk about what you've done and why. Because I'm always interested in what makes somebody see something and go, oh my God, I gotta tell everybody. I mean, I just, well, I made a video begging her to come.
I didn't know if we were allowed to talk about that, Whoopi.
Yes, you're welcome. Are you getting a lot of people going, oh my God, I had no idea this was what you we're dealing with?
I do have people say, oh my God, I didn't know you were normal. And I have to tell you guys, I've done a lot of interviews, but you guys make me really nervous.
Oh, no, we're on your side today.
I know.
You know that.
No, but it has been, it's been very moving as an American, because I think the challenges that I describe in the book and the challenges that we face, you know, they're ones that I think people across the political spectrum, with the exception of some in the Republican Party, really recognize how grave this threat is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Liz, you say that we're sleepwalking into a dictatorship. So let me just, let me count the ways, okay? He incited an insurrection, facing 91 indictments. He used Nazi terminology about rooting out vermin and the people coming over the border is poisoning our blood. And he's calling the January 6th prisoners hostages. Okay, what else do we have to do to convince these people who are still on his side and maybe on the fence how dangerous he is?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think part of it is because what he's saying is so horrible.
Yeah.
And in a way, we've become numb. And I also think that all of us as Americans, we've become accustomed to sort of being able to rely on our republic surviving. And so it can become very difficult. And I hear people on the right saying, oh, you're catastrophizing, you're exaggerating this threat. And I think that's, when I said, you know, sleepwalking into a dictatorship, it's not really understanding and recognizing how dangerous it would be, for example, to have a president who was unwilling to enforce the rulings of the courts.
Yes.
Who's just simply said, you know what, if I don't agree with the courts, I'm just going to ignore those rulings. That's the end of the constitutional republic.
Democracy. And I must say, I certainly
Doubts about brain health.
So the clucking hens, these lovable lunatic leftist ladies, they bring on Liz Cheney, another lunatic, another loser, who was basically disgraced and thrown out of the Republican, of the Wyoming, Republican Party. And the only reason that she was part of the J6, whatever you want to call it, fraudulent hearings on an insurrection, which was never an insurrection because they don't even know what the word means. They don't even know what an insurrection is. Nobody's been charged with insurrection, so it couldn't have been an insurrection other than the delusional minds of these people who tried to portray the delusion to be a collusion between everybody on the left and certainly people on the right, Democrats, Republicans, the media, the alphabet networks, all ganging up just like they did against President Trump. So these ladies of the pen, for the first time, because now that it's useful, she can be a useful idiot for their tool to propagate this crap, they bring her about. And what does she do? Wow, Donald Trump's a fascist. Donald Trump's going to undermine democracy. Donald Trump is going to be the next Hitler. Right. That's why he's allowing you to speak. He allowed you to speak when he was president. And you're going to do everything in your power. You and your father, the amount of blood that you have on your hands in terms of working with all those companies after you basically completely bombed the crap out of Afghanistan and did more than just that. The money that you made on the blood of those women and children and innocents over there. I'm not talking about the terrorists. You got some of them too. But you indiscriminately killed women and children in the name of the dollar bill for you and Dick Cheney, your dad, and everybody. And you will always be regarded as evil, Satanistic neocons. That's exactly who you are. And you know what? Hell is waiting for the both of you and your like. Anyways, let's continue and see what more lunatic Liz Cheney has to say to the clucking hens of The View.
I must say, I certainly have been critical of you on our show.
I am aware.
Yes, and because you voted with Trump 93% of the time,
That's
and so
right.
our policies are very different. Whoopi asked me to listen to your book. It's one of the best books I've ever read. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I did also think, wow, we have a lot in common. And that commonality is we want the republic to survive.
Right.
That's
Right?
right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And so let
We
me
want
ask
the
you this,
republic
because I
to
thought the bar was
survive.
so very low. All you had to do is say that he was an insurrectionist, and only you and a few people,
Right.
Adam Kinzinger on the committee was willing to do that. So I applaud you. So as we were just talking about yesterday, Trump and his lawyers were in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Trying to claim presidential immunity from prosecution in his election interference case. And his lawyers seem to be arguing, I think, that a president can indeed assassinate a political rival and not be prosecuted unless he is impeached and convicted first. You are a well-trained attorney. What are your thoughts about that theory?
Well
Well,
trained.
it's without basis in the Constitution. I think that it's as you all were talking about, completely indefensible. The notion that somehow the President of the United States could order the assassination of a political opponent. Imagine if a president did that and then stepped down the next day.
Yeah.
And so then the argument is, well, you can't impeach him and convict him because
Right.
he's already out of office, which, by the way, I think is not right. But according to the president's own lawyers, that's the position that they're asking the court to take. And I think there's just simply no way that a president can be immune for crimes that he commits while he's in office.
Right.
That's not the system that our
This is
framers
another level
established.
of rhetoric, though, about murder. Now we're talking about murder now.
Right.
Selling
I mean,
pardons?
it's like,
Well,
what was this, a junta? Like we're in a junta somewhere.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to recognize is all of these things that Trump is doing. You know, this notion of he's going to claim blanket immunity. These are all delay tactics.
Yeah.
And the reason that he's delaying is because he's trying to suppress the evidence. He knows that the people who testify against him in his trial will not be his political opponents. They will be the people closest to him. They'll be his White House counsel, you know, the people that led the Justice Department, his closest advisors, talking about the extent to which he attempted to overturn an election and seize power. And he doesn't want the American people to see that evidence before they vote. So this is all about preventing
Will he succeed at that, do you
transparency.
think?
So far, the courts have been clear that they're going to move expeditiously. They understand the gravity, but I think it's very important that we cannot be in a situation where a president can do the things he did, and our system can't hold him accountable until after the next election.
Right.
The judicial system can't survive that
That's
way.
right.
Well, Congresswoman.
Too bad, Dad. Don't be sad. Be glad. The amount this lady, all I urge is for you listeners out there, whatever she is projecting and deflecting and throwing it at President Trump, just remember who her father is or was. I'm not even sure if he's still alive. I'm really not sure. Maybe, well, regardless, just remember Dick Cheney and the things that he was involved in. You want to talk about somebody doing things that were completely illegal during the Bush administration that we're now finding out? Her father was at the top of the freaking list. Trump couldn't attempt to join him in that circle of depravity, that circle of evil, that circle of non-democratic, whatever the crap he was doing. But whatever Liz Cheney is portraying and showing that Trump is, folks, just remember that's what these people do. They project everything that's inside their inner core, their inner being, and I would say a soul, but Liz Cheney has none. She doesn't have a soul, neither does her father. But everything they're projecting outward is what is seething through their veins and coursing through their bloods inwards. That's all you need to know.
And I can't express how much you mean to me, and you've met to many others. And I think of when you lost your seat because you were willing to do the right thing and you were willing to speak truth to power. To Trump world and those people, you lost. But to tens of millions of Americans, you stood by your integrity and you stood up for the country, and that matters so much. And I want to
Look at her face. Look at her face. Thank you. I just polished my halo before I came on your show. Is it gleaming and glowing? Is the glint getting in your eyes too much? And my virtue signaling perch, my seat, I polished that really, really nice and shiny too. So I've got a shiny, shiny virtual, virtue signaling seat. And I'm so full of humility. I'm so full of humbleness. And I just polished my halo just for the effect to let you know that I'm the angel. I'm the virtuous one. And I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen if we elect this monster Donald Trump. You've got to listen to me. I gave up my seat for you. I gave up my life for you. I even wrote a book for you. You've got to listen to me. Oh, Liz Cheney. Wow, what an impassioned speech. How brilliant and bold and beneficial your thoughts are. Amazing, amazing. And you're also so full of, what's the word I want to use? Full of shit with your verbal diarrhea. Just gonna mansplain it to you there, honey.
personally thank you because you were instrumental in inspiring me to speak out, to sit down with the January 6th committee. You actually encouraged me to bring Sarah Matthews forward, Cassidy Hutchinson, who provided this critical testimony. Cassidy calls you, she says, your spine of steel is what inspired us. And now, 3 years after
It's a
January 6th,
spine of shit is what
the
it
names
is.
of those of us who spoke out, it's not that many. There are 10 times more enablers. Why is that? Why are so few of our old friends, Mike Johnson, Kevin McCarthy, Elise Stefanik, willing to say more when they know it's true about him?
Lie.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think those three that you've mentioned are in a particularly special category. Look.
Yeah, they're not liars like you bold-faced lying sack of crap.
I think, first of all, I want to thank you because the role that you played and what a thing it is that it was, you know, young women who came forward and said, no, we are not
Not old hags like yourself there, Liz Cheney, but young women like Elisa Farrow.
going to abide by these lies. We're going to do the right thing. And I think you gave people the courage that they could come forward and talk to the committee, and it was really, really important.
Yep.
But I think that, you know, we've seen authoritarians operate exactly like Donald Trump is operating.
Oh, you mean when you're looking in a mirror there, Liz Cheney, authoritarians like yourself and your father? Those type of authoritarians? Oh, you're projecting again. Oh. Didn't realize. Sorry about that.
Other parts of the world. And what we know is they can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have a small number of people who actually, elected officials who believe what he's saying. But there's a much larger number who know it's not true, but whether for political advantage or because they're afraid, because they just say they want to keep their head down, they've decided to go along. And history is going to hold them accountable. The decision to...
Yeah, well, we're going to hold you accountable, lunatic leftist Liz Cheney. We are definitely going to hold you accountable. We're going to hold every part of you accountable for the lies, the demagoguery, the untruths, the complete lack of honesty, selling your soul to the political devil, and basically projecting every single solitary aspect of fascism, racism, bigotry, hatred, whatever you want to call it, towards the American public, the American people who supported President Trump, to anybody that supports President Trump. We basically say to you and to your ilk, so long, because we don't care anything at all as to what you say. You are persona non grata to us. You're oblivious to us. You don't mean anything to us. And we will fight you every step of the freaking way. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so already and you like our content, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. You all know what to do. Check out our video links above and below. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take